Chapter 3, A Snake in the Walls. Hopefully you're all having a great day. Night has fallen in Camelot, but what should be a joyous time to celebrate is clouded by dread. This feast will be unforgettable, Princess Guinevere. Just you wait. Yes, I'm certain it will be. The servant girl fusses around your quarters, helping you wash up, but your last vision of Arthur haunts you. A toast in honor of my betrothed, Princess Guinevere. Your Highness. Your Highness. Yes. The hearth, Princess Guinevere. Shall I light it? Yes, please. As she bustles around the room, you frantically rack your brain for every detail you glimpsed in your latest vision, but the pieces still don't fit. How can Arthur die at the feast and at Lancelot's hands during a battle? It just isn't possible. Maybe it means I can save Arthur in time. If the two visions contradict each other, I must be able to change the course of events then. It has never been possible before, but it's the only answer that makes sense, and it gives you some hope of saving the king. For all that he seems to be a man touched by destiny, his destiny appears to be a dangerous one, but I cannot sit idly by while he faces it alone. We have barely gotten to know one another. I can't lose him now. What's that, Your Highness? Nothing. I'm simply excited to extend my first celebration here in Camelot. She quickly helps you tin your hair just before a knock rattles the door. She answers it and immediately drops into a curtsy. Your Majesty. Arthur? He steps inside, carrying a flat, ornate-carved garment box. Forgive the intrusion, but I came bearing a gift. A gown for your welcome feast. You didn't need to trouble yourself on my account. But I did. You deserve to have all eyes on you tonight if you would do me the honor of trying it on. For a moment, the kindness in his smile dispels your churning thoughts about the feast. Well, if you brought it all this way, it would be a shame not to. Looks nice. It's pretty. Make an impression on a night you will never forget. Tessa helps you into the dress, find a changing screen, and Arthur's eyes widen when you step out and do a quick twirl. What do you think? His gaze trails down the gown, and you know, even without glancing in the mirror, that it fits you perfectly. He swallows and clears his throat. You outshine the stars, Princess Guinevere, as I'm beginning to suspect you always do. The servant curtsies and ducks outside, and Arthur offers you his arm. Shall I escort you to the feast? As you reach for him, your stomach turns. You're running out of time. The sooner you go to the feast, then you cannot forget what you saw. Whatever is going to happen tonight, perhaps he deserves to know, but warning him would mean revealing my visions. I will warn Arthur about what I saw. If he doesn't believe you, he might think you mad or worse, but he has to know he is in danger. Arthur, wait, there's something I must tell you. His smile drops at once, his concern and expression shifting. What is it? You imagine trying to share your visions many times, but never quite like this. Only you've gone too far now to turn back, and you sit back on the edge of your bed trying to find the words. For as long as I can remember, I've had visions. Glimpses of a past that has been, or of a future yet to come. I know it sounds mad, but when I arrived here, I saw one of you. He let you speak, his countenance growing more grave as you tell him of the battle you saw between him and Lancelot as Camelot falls, and your vision of him being poisoned at the feast. When you finish, he is quiet for a long moment, and you wring your hands in your lap. Please say something. This is deeply troubling. If what you've seen always comes to pass. You believe me, then? Of course I do. His face is full of unexpected conviction. He crosses the room to kneel beside you and rest one hand on yours, his touch gentle. If my own court wizard has visions and prophecies, why not you? Told you. And although we've only known each other only a short time, I cannot believe you tell me such a troubling thing as a jest. I am so glad that you believe me. I've never spoken to anyone about this before, not even my own parents. What an awful burden to bear alone. But I admit I'm not certain what to make of these things you've seen. Lancelot and I turning against each other seems unfathomable. You notice he does not say impossible, but whether it is out of faith in his friend or faith in what you've seen, he is clearly troubled. I'm so sorry. It isn't your fault, Guinevere. If anything, you've given us a chance to avert these catastrophes. Us? He smiles and squeezes your hand gently as touch a much-needed comfort. Us. I could not possibly hope to save all of Camelot without your aid, although the most immediate threat seems to lie at tonight's feasts. Should we cancel the celebration? I fear that would raise only suspicion, not to mention the questions from the court, but to be safe, I won't drop a drink all evening. I wish it were that simple. The things I've seen have a way of happening, no matter what. You've truly never been able to prevent one of these predictions from coming to pass? Not once, but that doesn't stop me from wanting to try. He should be terrified. He knows he's walking towards fate you may not be able to avert, and yet he smiles at you. And then I must face my fate as bravely as you. Many guests in attendance hold grudges against me. If we keep our wits about us, we may find out whoever's means me harm and stop them. I will do all that I can. I could not ask for more. And whatever happens tonight, we will face it together, that I swear. He rises, offering you his arm, and this time you take it. A fanfare of trumpets welcomes you to the great hall, where you are greeted by smiling faces of knights and nobles alike. King Arthur and Her Highness Princess Guinevere! A fine evening to you, Princess Guinevere. I hope it will be. You recognize some knights at the round table as Arthur leads you towards a long dining table, but other guests he introduces along the way as well. King Caradoc, I'm delighted to have such a cunning warrior among us tonight. You know I could never decline an invitation from my sworn liege, Your Majesty, especially for such a momentous occasion. Your Majesty, Your Highness. Good evening, Gareth. Sir Gareth here is Gawain's brother. He, the gentlest and most patient of his siblings. Then he must be patient indeed. Pleased to meet you. And these are some esteemed members of our court. Lady Delilah, Lady Anna, Lady Brucine. Welcome to our fine kingdom. You honor us with your presence, Princess. Oh, it's her. Well, we already suspect her. Likewise, it's a pleasure to finally meet some of Camelot's court. King Arthur, perhaps I could speak with you later about the measure... We can discuss politics another time, Lady Brucine. Tonight I must ensure my bride-to-be has a proper welcome. Arthur ushers you to a seat beside his at the head table. Lancelot sits down at your other side. Your Highness. Sir Lancelot. As his gaze moves over you, taking in your gown, he seems at a momentary loss for words. Is there something amiss? He recovers quickly, clearing his throat. No, it is simply you look beautiful tonight. Fit to sit beside the king. Thank you. He eyes you with sympathy and a hint of concern, lowering his voice a little. I know our court can tend to be overwhelming. How are you faring in front of so many new faces? I am no stranger to attention. Would rather feel better if everyone stopped staring at me. I'm worried about Arthur. There's no time to discuss your vision of Arthur being poisoned, especially when the culprit is likely in the very room where you sit, but you can't keep your concern from your voice. Ever since I stepped into this hole, I have troubling feeling. I will let no harm come to you or Arthur, Princess. You have my vow. Arthur stands at the head of the table and claps his hands. Welcome, friends. Tonight we gather to... The hall's doors suddenly swing open with a bang. Outside, lightning crashes, and the crowd gasps as a beautiful woman strides in, dark robes swirling around her. I like your black robe. Don't at me. Tell me I haven't missed all the fun. Not at all, Morgana. We were just about to begin. He turns to you and indicates the newcomer. Princess Guinevere, may I introduce you to my sister, Morgana? Half-sister. Of course. I wasn't sure you'd come, but I had a seat prepared. Please. Why, thank you, Your Majesty. So generous, as always. As Morgana claims a seat at the royal table in stony silence, your whispers drifting from the crowd. Envy, pure envy. Morgana cannot bear the fact he's king. Nonsense, she simply can't be bothered with court politics. I heard she's a witch. Oh no, a witch. That last claim catches your full attention. You sit straighter and sneak a glance at Morgana. She stares back at you wordlessly as Arthur continues. A witch, if that's true, could she be behind the dangers I've seen? Now that all of our guests are here, I hope you enjoy this feast in honor of my betrothed, Princess Guinevere. The guests begin helping themselves to a small opening course, and you take in all the faces around you. There are so many people I know little about, from kings to nobles, and so many other with complicated relationships to Arthur. If I'm to save him, I may be the only person in this room I can trust. Just as the thought hits you, a servant steps forward and begins filling goblets up and down the table. Goblets you've seen before. Just like your vision. Oh no. You lock eyes with Arthur, who nods subtly and pushes his goblet away. Perhaps whoever means to harm him is watching for him to take a drink, but I can only keep an eye on so many people at once. As Arthur sets his goblet aside, you scan the room for any signs of treachery. I know I'll go a little based on lore. Morgana's eyes narrow slightly. She notices Arthur's reluctance to drink, but she lifts her own goblet and takes a long drink. Servant, another. She certainly noticed something was strange, but I cannot condemn her based on a glance alone. You catch Arthur watching you with a question in his eyes, but you shake your head helplessly. If anyone was hoping he would drink that, they are keeping their hopes to themselves. As you study the other guests, servants rush in with platters of the feast's main course. Arthur's pork roasts. Arthur's face lights up with pleasure as he recognizes it. Oh, this is one of my favorites. So I was told. You thought he was delighted before, but somehow his smile grows even brighter. And then you have my sincerest thanks, Princess. I'm mostly glad the food seems to be safe to eat. Beside you, Lancelot chats with other knights as they catch up on their latest quests. How goes your great search, Percival? There has been no sign of it yet, but I remain hopeful. You always were the most optimistic of us. Well, I, for one, am glad that we're home and hearty with tales to tell. I'd be feeling heartier if some of our guests had declined my brother's invitation. Kay glares across the table, his scowl deepening. I can't believe Caradoc had the nerve to show his face here. Come now, Kay. Let's not be hasty. You have a history with King Caradoc? I faced him in battle when he and 10 other not kings rebelled against Arthur early in his reign. They all swore fealty when the fighting was done, but I do not trust any of them are truly loyal. And I, for one, am surprised to see Lady Brucin behaving so graciously this evening. Does she have a problem with the king? On a personal level, I do not know, but she has disagreed with some of his recent laws, quite vocally. I see. Do you think any of them mean the king harm? Surely not. No one would dare break the peace. I wouldn't be so sure of that, brother, but I'd love to see them try. I see. And what of Morgana? Arthur received her warmly, but she seems chilly, cold. I never liked her. That's a little harsh, but she's not an easy to read as people think. My dear cousin has always been complicated. Your cousin? Aye, Arthur and Morgana are cousins to us. Why, I remember when I realized there's more to her than meets the eye, the day I first faced the Green Knight. A chorus of groans rises from the other knights. I cannot believe you're bringing up that story again. Your vision blurs, and you suddenly see a younger Gawain. He faces a monstrous knight dressed in green, and Arthur and Morgana are speaking to him. Another vision of the past. Perhaps it might show me more about Morgana and Arthur, and Gawain's adventure. I believe I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Gawain, but feel free to correct me. Reach for the vision. We could call him G, lol. You reach out for that grinning, younger version of him as his eyes sparkle with hope and wonder. Now, playing as Gawain. You sit at the round table for the first time, trying to hide the awe you feel to be beside such legendary knights as one of them. After all that, the bandits fled the course. All of them? So we'll have to deal with them again. Be easy, Kay. I chased them out of the kingdom. Not deeper into it. Although I confess I was disappointed. They roused me from my bed in a blizzard and denied me enough of a fight to stay warm. Laughing, Arthur hoists his goblet high. To Sir Lancelot, a knight so fearsome that criminals cower at the sight of his scowl. Or that too pretty smile. Morgana, be nice. At the arch look from her brother, Morgana sighs and lifts her goblet. I was being nice, but if I must, to Sir Lancelot, someday they'll toast me like this. If I ever find a worthy challenge. As if in answer to your thought, the vast doors to the chamber swing wide. The largest knight you've ever seen strolls in, a massive axe resting against his broad shoulder. So these are the legendary knights of the Round Table. Hello, forest man. He has green eyes. Is he green? Good evening, sir. What brings you to our table? A test. See how bold your knights truly are. He hefts the deadly-looking weapon with ease, and his gaze seems to assess each of you in turn. Kay looks angry at the interruption, but Lancelot looks wary. I challenge the bravest of you to strike me one fearsome blow with this axe. But in a year and a day I will return the blow to you in kind. Murmurs break out around the table. Many of the knights immediately look at Lancelot, but he does not move, only watches the newcomer. If he returns a blow to you in kind. Does it... Okay. Is it any type of blow? Like, can you just punch him and he has to return it in a year and a day? Because if so, then, you know, this is it. This is my chance to prove myself. You leap to your feet, chairs scraping behind you, and the whole chamber falls silent, all eyes watching you. So, knight, I accept your challenge. This brash sapling is the bravest of you all. Newly knighted I might be, but I am still a sworn knight of the Round Table. Indeed he is, and as brave and loyal a knight as you will ever find. Well then. The Green Knight offers you his axe. It takes the strength of both your arms to lift it, and you realize just how powerful this stranger must be. He could cut me in half with this as easy as breathing. There's only one way to be sure he can't come back to swing it at me. With all your strength, you raise the axe. In one powerful blow, you strike the Green Knight's head off his body. I did it! The court is stunned into silence as his massive body hits the floor. Then a smattering of applause breaks out as soon as the knights begin to celebrate your victory. Well struck. Gawain. A wise choice, cousin. Gawain. The chairs stop abruptly as Lancelot nods towards the Green Knight, who rises. A powerful blow, Sir Gawain. He picks his head up off the floor and settles it back into place on his shoulders. What? How? Remember your promise, bold knight of the Round Table. In a year and a day you must find me in my home, where I will deliver the same blow to you. Yeah, no, you're an idiot. He turns and rides from the chamber, leaving you staring helplessly across the table. Only Lancelot meets your gaze, his expression grave. You fool, Gawain. If even Lancelot was hesitant to test his offer, why did you pick up that damn axe? Almost a year later, you're due to leave for the Green Knight's domain. But first, you seek your cousin's advice. I will not break my promise to the Green Knight, but to my shame, I am afraid. There is no shame in fear, cousin. Arthur places a hand on your shoulder as Morgana, lounging against one of the hall's columns, scoffs wryly. This is the first sensible thing you've said all evening. Even Lancelot is afraid at times, but he does not allow fear to sway him from his path. The only shame would be in dishonoring yourself by breaking your word. You're right. Perhaps he'll be merciful. Or perhaps he'll strike off your head. Morgana, this is unhelpful. Oh, forgive me for interfering as you tried to send our cousin off to his death. And how would you send him off? In fear? Dishonor? I would not send him off at all. You would see me break my word. I would see you live. Leave him be, Morgana. It is his quest. Only he can decide how to face it. Arthur pats your shoulder encouragingly. I believe in your honor and your bravery, and I believe I will see you again, Sir Gawain, perhaps with a legend that rivals any of Lancelot's. Your heart lifts at Arthur's confident words, but as soon as the king leaves, Morgana turns to your expression is unusually serious. Honor and bravery are all very well, but you are my kin. I will not see you throw your life away over foolish chivalry. From one of the folds of her dress, she produces a beautiful green belt. When you touch it, the tips of your fingers begin to tingle. An odd gift. What is this? Wear it, and you'll be safe from any bodily harm. So, it is magic. Why are you helping me? Because, cousin, you happen to be one of my less annoying relatives, and those are few and far between. Even if Arthur has all but ruined you with his talk of honor. Honor is important, Morgana. Perhaps, but so is your life. Do you not spend it so recklessly? I shall try. Your journey is long, strange, but at the end of it, you reach the ancient woods where the knight resides. A fitting place to meet my fate. You approach the towering green knight with Morgana's gift wrapped around your waist. The power in it feels heavy. So, you have come after all, young sapling. I'm curious what drove you to keep your word. I came here out of honor. I gave you my word, the word of a knight of the Round Table. And you knights of the Round Table always keep your word. We try. But you can't help but think of the belt around your waist. Is it truly honorable to face the knight's bargain with such protection? As you kneel before the knight, your hand strays to the belt at your waist. I'll remove the belt. One moment, Sir Knight. Moving quickly, you untie Morgana's gift and set it aside. I'm sorry, cousin, but I gave my word. Then you spread your arms out wide and watch the axe as it rises above your head. Several days later, you stride triumphantly into the hall of the Round Table. Gawain! You made it. Come now, tell us what happened. You stop next to Morgana and hand her the belt. I appreciate the thought, cousin, but I didn't need it after all. Morgana, I told you to leave him be. And I told you, he's my favorite cousin. Though I'm pleased to see his reckless honor has somehow not cost him his head. What matters is it that he faced his trial with courage. And with honor. The Green Knight agreed. I felt like I waited forever for the axe to fall, and then he struck me with the gentlest blow. You finger a small scar along your neck, newly healed. Because that was the true challenge. To keep my word. A test, then. A test that Sir Gawain has passed. This will be a legendary story one day. Sir Gawain and the Deadly Axe. Oh dear, let's not allow Kay to name any of your legends. Now, playing as Guinevere, the vision of Gawain beside the Round Table fades as the real one speaks up beside you. Look, Morgana has her own goals. She's not concerned with chivalry or honor, but she has morals in her own way. Oh, certainly. If by morals you mean doing whatever she pleases to get what she wants. As the first course ends, guests begin milling about the hall, chatting, and the knights beside you continue their debate. There's so much content around Arthur's sister. If I want to know what she's really here tonight for, I'll have to ask her myself. This is true. You approach her as she lounges beside one of the hall's alcoves watching the other guests. She'll greet you with a perfect curtsy. Well, well, the famous Princess Guinevere, it's a pleasure to finally meet you. Likewise, Lady Morgana. It seems like all of Camelot is talking about you. How could you know that when you've only just arrived? Oh, you've been the talk of the kingdom ever since my brother announced your betrothal. Now that you've met your husband-to-be, I'm curious, how do you feel about my noble brother? I think I hardly know him yet. She mimes raising a glass to you, chuckling, although there's little joy in laughter. What a perfectly diplomatic answer that manages to say nothing at all. I see you'll fit right in here in Camelot. How do you feel about Arthur? She laughs derivatively. How do I feel about him? The brother I didn't know existed for half my life? The one who swept in and had the court falling at his feet, and then most of them would rather spit at me than look at me? You wait for her to go on, but she waves a hand dismissively. That's a rather personal question, especially from a stranger I've just met, one I don't wish to answer further. In that case, I hope we can get to know one another better. We needn't remain strangers. That's a sweet offer, but I rather hope we do. Oh. She abruptly turns a swirl of robes and walks away, leaving you alone. Chilly might be a bit of an understatement. I still dig her, though. Just saying. You make your way back to the head table and reunite with Arthur. He leans in to whisper to you. Any suspects so far? Plenty, but no way to rule anyone out for certain. We need a way to gather info, to hear what people are truly planning without them realizing it. You rack your brain, and then it hits you. It's a wonder you didn't think of it before. Is there any way we could get everyone dancing? Ah, entertainment accompanied by a little judacious eavesdropping. I would be delighted to arrange a dance if you feel up for it. As Arthur smiles at you, you catch Lancelot glancing at you from across the hall, his gaze lingering. Yeah, we get it. You're smitten. A dance would let me get close to the guests and anyone else I want a moment with. Seize this opportunity to eavesdrop on the guests and dance with both Arthur and the Lancelot. I would love to dance. Diamonds are getting low. We haven't been in triple digits in a while. Arthur takes your hand in the crook of his arm and turns to address the hall. We will have a small interlude before the next course. My future queen desires a dance. Your future queen has excellent taste. I've been dying for a proper dance. You've been dying. Never say that. There's an excited applause as Arthur leads you out into the center of the great hall. Your people celebrate a dance like a parched man celebrates water. We've never been one to snub a chance for revelry. Though for all the reasons to dance, few are as worthy a celebration as your arrival. When other dancers have taken their places, the music begins. Arthur guides you through the opening steps. He moves like he has danced them many times before. You dance well. Not as well as you, but I shall do my best to keep up. He smiles and leans in ever so slightly, lowering his voice. Where would you like this dance to take us? Glance around, and it takes you only moments to spot your first quarry. King Caradoc whispering intently with his own partner. There, I need to get closer to Caradoc. The music swells, and you make your move. I'll dance closer to them with Arthur. You spin towards Caradoc, pulling Arthur with you, his body pressed nearly flush with your arms as tighten around you. Your heart leaps at the touch. The surprise flashes across his face, immediately followed by a pleased smile. You make quite the partner, Your Highness. As do you. You smile softly, your eyes locked with his as you dance. Your dance brings you within earshot of Caradoc. My army is the mightiest in the realm. Strength and bravery are unmatched, and it grows in size each day. And just how sizable is this army? None can stand before it. Anyone would be foolish to try. Arthur frowns, clearly troubled by the boast. Why would King Caradoc need so many soldiers? I do not know, unless he's planning a conquest. But it's been years since Caradoc last waged war with me. I thought we were behind that. Perhaps he means to do so again. Or perhaps he chose the path you saw in your vision, a more underhanded method of defeating me. The dance carries you away from Caradoc, and as you follow Arthur across the dance floor, the tempo picks up. The next part is going to be rather fast. I noticed. As you twirl, you struggle to maintain your footing. I stumble, spin, stop, spin. You follow smoothly as Arthur sweeps you into a spin. You may be new to the steps, but you still dance them admirably. Thank you. I know you requested it for practical reasons, but I have to say, I very much enjoyed this dance. In fact, I've enjoyed everything about your arrival in Camelot. Even in light of the secret I told you? He nods, unhesitatingly. You're a jewel, my lady, and as brave as any knight of the Round Table to face what we both know is at stake tonight. Looking at his kind smile in the torchlit hall, you push thoughts of your vision as far away as you can. You're either too generous with your praise or your humor. I can't tell which. He shakes his head as you twirl across the dance floor, the movement bringing you close enough that no one else can hear the words. On the contrary, I'm perfectly serious. You have already proven yourself quite unforgettable, Princess Guinevere. It's the sort of thing any man should say to his betrothed, but Arthur sounds as though he means it. I am glad you think so. Before you can reply, the dancers around you begin to switch partners, and you find yourself face to face with a familiar knight. Your Highness. It's Sir Lancelot. He takes your hands as the dance swirls you together. It's entirely different than dancing with Arthur. His footwork is precise, his movements fluid, but he keeps more distance between you, even though there's a strange feeling of reluctance to it. How are you enjoying your welcome feast so far? It has my nerves on edge, to be honest. That's a pity. Can I help? For a moment, you think about telling him the truth. Oh, tongue-tied. Surely, if anyone can help me save Arthur, he could. Unless Lancelot is still the greatest threat to him. But there's too much at stake, too many faces around you to chance revealing anything, so you choose your words with care. Meeting so many new people, wanting to make a good impression, it's a little overwhelming. I understand the feeling. He spins you effortlessly before leaning in to whisper, his breath tickling your ear. Between the two of us, I'm far more at home on a battlefield than at a fancy ball. And yet you dance smoothly enough. He startles, as though just realizing how close he's holding you, and pulls away. Well, the dancing part isn't so bad, but the court. The words are a sharp reminder of why you're truly called for this dance, just as Lancelot's movements take you closer to a pair of gossiping nobles. Nonsense, Lady Brasin is a model of proper nobility. Her family line is impeccable. I've never heard a poor word spoken about her. Then you must not listen to your servants. I listen to mine, and they say Lady Brasin is a harsh mistress. Hardly a credible source, most likely. Just bitter complaints from lazy staff. So you don't want to hear about her lady's maid said about her dresses? He's trying to hear more over the music as they go on. I wouldn't decline the opportunity. I hear she has had every dress modified so she can carry a dagger in her left sleeve. Scandalous, hardly ladylike behavior. I mean, no, really. Well, it's not really scandalous, you're protecting yourself. Very interesting behavior. The song carries you past them, its melody winding towards a close. Some dancers are pulled in close to their partners, while others twirl away to new ones. There are only a few moments left in the dance. Whomever I wish to spend them with. I'm doing Lancelot. I mean, clearly we're going to be spending a lot of time with King Arthur, and we've already spent most of this chapter with him, so that's why I chose it. Lancelot's fingers relax at your hip, and he starts to step back, but you press closer, looking up at him with a hopeful smile. Dance with me again? If that is your wish, Princess. If you're my sworn knight, I think you should call me Guinevere. His fingers flex at your waist, but it's the only sign that his dutiful front has wavered at all. I'm a sworn knight, and I should definitely address you by your appropriate title, your highness. But you call Arthur by his name. That is different. Why? As the music swells, Lancelot suddenly spins you, the bright lights becoming a dizzying whirl around you, and you end up clinging to him as the song reaches its crescendo. Oh. Are you alright, your highness? Just a bit breathless. You smile up at him. There's a moment where you swear he's about to admit to the same, but then he tears his gaze away. I hope it is not an unpleasant feeling. Dancing with you could never be. He bows to you as the music ends, and offers his hand to escort you back to your seat at the table. Only when he is gone do you realize that he never answered your question. As the servants begin to clear the dishes from the main course, you spot Lady Brusine in an alcove, with her mostly hidden by the shadows. Morgana, what's she whispering with Brusine about? In the bustle of servants moving about, you slip from the table and make your way towards the alcove, but just before you reach them, Morgana sweeps away to rejoin the feast, striking up a conversation with Gawain. Behind her, Brusine heads towards a side door. Alright, never mind Morgana. Where is she off to? Under the cover of several loudly bickering nobles, you try to sneak after Brusine through the crowd. Step swiftly. Not wanting to lose her in the crowd, you hurry to follow in her wake, but your steps echo across the floor as she stops abruptly. Oh no. You press yourself into the shadow of one of the feast's hall statues as Brusine looks around, her eyes narrowing. I could have sworn I heard. After a moment, she shakes her head and slips out of the side door. That was too close. I mean, we're walking through a hall. How did she hear only our footsteps? I didn't know this was, MW2. If you know that reference, you get a point. You duck through the door behind her, following her through the quiet, twisting hallways of the palace. I think I recognize that turn up ahead. Is she going to the kitchens? You round the last corner to see a flash of her dress as she disappears through the open doors to the kitchens. You reach the door in time to see her pull a glass vial from one sleeve. She stalks over to a table where the cook has laid out plates of individual cakes, but there is no one else inside. Now, which one is his? That vial must be poison. As you watch in horror, she approaches a gold plate embossed with Arthur's Pendragon crest and prepares to uncork the vial over the cake it holds. Stop her. What do you think you're doing? You! Yes, me. And you. She drops the bottle, and as she whirls to face you, reaching into one of the sleeves, you remember what you heard about the dance. Move quickly. Now. She has a dagger. You dodge aside as she pulls out her weapon and slap the dagger from her hand. How dare you touch me? How dare you try to poison your king? You haven't even been here a full day. This is no business of yours. You hear a scuff of boots behind you, and there's no time to turn. Lady Brusine lunges for her dagger, but you move even faster. Throw a cake at her, knock over the head with a plate. No, I'm gonna punch her. As her hand closes around the hilt of the dagger, you swing your fist directly into her chin. Take that. Her arms windmill as she stumbles back, tripping on her dress and hitting the floor in a heap. You got the upper hand against Lady Brusine. Yeah, literally. Not my business, is it? What isn't your business? You jump with a familiar voice and spin to see Lancelot hovering in the doorway to the kitchens. Perhaps I shouldn't have been quick to intervene or interfere. You seem to have the situation well in hand. He looks at you admiringly as you stand over the noble woman until he spots the vial of poison. Princess. I can explain. Silence seems to last for an age before Lancelot turns from you, his expression unreadable. Let me handle the prisoner first. You look far more somber. Lancelot slices several of the cloth napkin with his sword and starts to tie Lady Brusine's hands behind her back. Help! The noblewoman suddenly starts to twitch, her face turning red as she begins to choke on something unseen. So swiftly, you can hardly believe it, the last air is sucked from her lungs. She goes limp and unmoving in a horrified Lancelot's grip. Oh god. Lancelot sets Rosine's body down and slowly rises to face you. What is going on here? What were you doing in the kitchens with a dead woman in a vial of what looks like poison? Lancelot, I was saving Arthur's life. Then Lady Rosine came to poison the king. I stopped her. You stare down at Lady Rosine and the poison meant for Arthur, and then you realize what has truly just happened. I stopped a vision from coming true. That's never been possible before, so perhaps this is hope of saving both of them, saving all of Camelot, but I cannot do it alone. As Lancelot glances between you and the dead woman, you steel yourself to do the hardest thing you've ever done. I ask you to trust me. I've discovered something important, and I must speak to you and Arthur now. Lancelot hesitates for so long you're afraid you've lost him, but then he sheathes a sword. I will send for him. Lancelot brings you to the round table and fetches the king. All too soon, they're both standing before you in the vast empty hall with their faces grave. Lancelot, has told me of Lady Rosine's death. I take it this is related to the threat you saw. You nod as Lancelot glances between the two of you in confusion. A threat? Lancelot, this morning I told you that I had a bad feeling since I arrived. What I didn't share is that sometimes I have visions. Visions of what and how? How, I do not know, but I've seen them all my life. Glimpses of a past that has been, or warnings of a future yet to come. And tonight I saw a vision of Arthur being poisoned at the feast. Did you know of this, Arthur? I did. You should have told me. It's my duty to protect you. I'm afraid that not was my first vision here. Sometimes reading old, language is super difficult because it's not proper, right? And sometimes I'm like, wait, what? The moment I arrived, I saw Camelot fallen. The palace aflame. Arthur dying. Lancelot looks to Arthur in horror as he continues. And you, my friend, holding the sword that would kill me. As I held the sword that had mortally wounded you. Lancelot shakes his head, stepping back from the round table. I would never. I believe you would never mean to, but without knowing who or what could drive Camelot to such tragedy, I do not know how to stop it. Arthur traces a hand across the surface of the round table, his expression grim. Yeah, you hope that we can? I saw you die of poison tonight, and yet you live. So if we can stop one vision, surely it must be possible to save Camelot. The unspoken words hang between you. To save Camelot and save both of their lives. What if in stopping Lady Rosine you've already averted this greater danger? You close your eyes and the vision rises up from memory, as crisp as ever, tinged with renewed urgency. I have not. I can feel the real threat still on the horizon. You are both in terrible danger, and if there's any hope of stopping it, I will need your help. Without further ado, hopefully you all did enjoy. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Head down the description of the video. Plenty of cool things to check out and ways to support the channel. I'll say this. Thanks for tuning in. It's very much appreciated. Like I said, sometimes I read old-timey-wimey language, right? And just the lack of proper, sentencing and words and yeah, no, sometimes I swear that, I'm not reading what I'm seeing. And I try. I try in my brain to rearrange the shit before I see it, okay? That's about the best way I can put it, okay? Before it comes out of my mouth. So there's times where I just, and I'm like, and it's difficult. I have a real difficulty reading old-timey-wimey stuff. I really do. So yeah, I thought I'd just say that, and hopefully you find a little bit of humor in that, but also it doesn't help sometimes, when you're tired too, but Yeah, no, I look at that and it's just it's well, it's not even true old timey wimey things. It's like Pixelberry trying to speak like they once spoke in this time. Like if you ever read any of the like books or anything about Arthur and the knights and Morgana and all this, like it's not true language that they once spoke. Which would be even more cool if they actually did do better with that. But it's Pixelberry, so you're expecting, you know, good quality writing for the cost of $16 a month for VIP, which is really overpriced. But I digress. Without further ado, love your beautiful faces. Thank you all for tuning in. And just think, for the low cost of literally like $5, you can go buy a book about Arthur and really good written story and really immersiveness. And for the low cost of $16 a month for VIP, it's literally 4 chapters of crap. Bye!